Hi everyone, my name is Victoria. I'm a pet owner. I've got 2 dogs, 3 cats, 8 birds, a bunch of fish, and we've recently been thinking about getting another dog. And I happened to notice while doing research that pit bulls get a lot of stigma against them. Pit bulls are the breed of choice for most criminals who are involved in dog fighting. Oftentimes the dogs who are rescued from this are not very friendly and they're not sociable around people. Over time, this has caused society to view the breed as a whole as inherently aggressive. My proposition tonight is that the claim that pit bulls are naturally dangerous is false. I've got 3 supporting claims. 1, pit bulls are misrepresented in the media. 2, the pit bull breed has good features that are exploited by criminals. And 3, problematic pit bulls are the result of owner abuse rather than issues with the breed. Okay, going back to number 1, pit bulls are misrepresented in the media. So pit bulls in movies and TV shows, you've got Incredible Hulk, The Good Son, The Wild, You Don't Mess with the Zohan, Law and Order, Bones. The majority of the time you see these dogs chained to a fence, they're not in a home environment, and this kind of sticks with us in the back of our mind. This is how we associate these dogs, bad neighborhoods, bad people. Going on from that, current media demonizes these dogs by falsely reporting dog attacks. So The Guardian had an incident where a Jack Russell attacked a baby, and the photo on the article was of a pit bull. And Daily Mail did the same thing. A border collie attacked a baby. Picture was of a pit bull. And then you have Time.com, little article online. Why do so many pit bulls attack babies? So BBC and Denver Post both commented on this, saying dog attacks by other breeds are less exciting, they get less views, so they get less attention. Applied Animal Behavior Science did a study where they basically took 33 different breeds of dogs, 3 to 5 dogs within each breed, so we're not basing this on like 1 golden retriever or 1 dachshund, and they did a test based on aggressiveness. This is how the dogs react to other people. They look at the stance of the dog, whether their tail's up, whether their hackles are raised, whether they bare their teeth. They found that dachshunds and chihuahuas are the most aggressive dogs. Pit bulls and Rottweilers scored either average or below average when confronted with new people. So that goes into our next thing. The pit bull breed has good features that are exploited by criminals. In the past, pit bulls were considered family dogs. A pit bull is a mixture between a bull terrier and, a bulldog and a terrier. They're renowned for their strength, high pain tolerance, and their strong desire to please their owner. So let's talk about Stubby the war hero. In World War I, American soldiers brought a pit bull with them to France. He was there to boost morale. During trench warfare, there was a chemical attack, and Stubby was one of the ones affected by it. They used mustard gas, which burns your skin, burns your eyes, you can go blind. He was part of this, and they found that he learned how to sense it. And they gave him a little mask, and he stayed for 18 months, served in 17 battles with the soldiers, and he ended up getting promoted to sergeant. Sergeant Stubby was a pit bull in America, and his little vest can be found in the Smithsonian. So we used to fight alongside these dogs, and now we fight them against each other. So the Humane Societies found that pit bull fighters inbreed them to hone in on the aggressive aspects of these dogs. They don't want their desire to please their owner in a good way, they want it in a bad way. So this leads to problematic pit bulls are the result of owner abuse rather than issues with the breed. So physical abuse. These dogs are mutilated. When they're little puppies, they dock their ears, which is basically if you went here and you cut along the side, so other dogs can't grab the earlobe, rip it off. Same thing with the tail. Chop it right off, so it makes it better fighters, basically. These dogs are beat. If you go to quick search online to some disturbing sites, it is stressed that it's important to beat these dogs to provoke them to be angry. And you might be thinking, well, if these dogs aren't mean, then why do they fight so well? Well, dogs that don't fight are called bait dogs, and they are used by the other dogs to teach them to fight to death. So dogs that don't fight die. They also have emotional abuse. These dogs don't have a home environment. They're not out there fighting and they come home and get a pat on the head. That doesn't happen. These dogs are chained to walls constantly. Typically, the heavier the chain, to give them more upper body strength. They have abstract punishments. They have to fight for food. They're left outside. They're not given the environment that a dog needs. So, once again, the Humane Society found that animal cruelty can lead towards violence towards humans because dogs don't have the ability to differentiate between the person who abused them, a person who's going to abuse them, and an innocent bystander. They cannot tell. There's a website called Dog Breed Info, which has just about anything you could ever want to know about a dog. an article called "My Dog Was Abused," and it found that these dogs typically they don't know who to trust. They go by instinct and circumstances. They don't know whether you're going to hurt them or not. So, in conclusion, we should not blame dogs for the actions of humans. These dogs deserve all the chances that we would offer any other breed. So, once again, I'll restate my proposition. The claim that pit bulls are naturally aggressive is false. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the proposition is clearly stated both at the beginning of the speech and at the end of the speech. I thought it gave you a good exit line and reminds us, everybody, about the point that you're trying to make. They're a pretty good preview of what the structure is going to be. You signpost in the body of the speech, so that's fine. Sometimes I do think that you were rushing through the material. I like the idea and describing that there's a controversy that gets exaggerated by the media of the examples that you use. The two examples that you mentioned, though, it sounds to me like those are primarily in other parts of the world. I'm not exactly sure. The Guardian, I think, is a British paper, so I'm not exactly sure that kind of misleading presentation occurs here. That doesn't mean that it doesn't also affect people, because, I mean, let's face it, we read stuff across the borders nowadays when people are online, so there might be something like that that's going into that. There was kind of a hint that there's some sort of clickbait that's built into that, and that brings people in, so I do think you could develop that a little bit more, but I like the idea of you're making the attempt to do that. The comparison of the animals in terms of their ferocity or their strength or danger or any characteristics that they have, I think is probably okay. You've got the one argument that talks about how some dogs are clearly more aggressive by nature as opposed to the training that's going on. I do think that you did a good job on that second point, explaining why the pit bulls who are so dangerous are that way, not as a result of being pit bulls, but are as a result of the treatment that they receive. You did a good job explaining those kinds of things. We can probably thank Michael Vick for having a good insight into that. May he burn in hell. All right. The idea that the owner abuse is accounting for that is fine. I kind of like your story about Stubby, the Sergeant Stubby, the dog in World War I. I think that, you know, the notion of giving us a positive role model of a pit bull is a good way to sort of build some audience perspective on the topic, and you did a good job on that. I do think that you're rushing a little bit. I understand, because you want to get it all in on time, but sometimes I think you need to pace yourself so that you can explain the argument a little bit more. But like I said, I thought there was a good exit line at the end too. Thank you.